Okay. You know, there are many surahs in the Quran that have oaths. Allah Azza wa Jal swears by different things, right? And the example I decided to share with you today has to do with Surah Al-Mursalat, surah number 77. Traditionally, it has been held that the oath that Allah swears by something because it's very important. وَالتِّينِ وَالزَّيْتُونِ وَطُورِ سِينِينَ وَالشَّمْسِ وَضُحَاهَا وَالْعَصْرِ وَالصُّبْحِ وَالْفَجْرِ وَاللَّيْلِ وَلَيَالٍ عَشْرٍ وَالْفَجْرِ. Right? All of these are oaths in the Quran. Allah swears by different things. One of the views that has been held is that Allah swears by these things because in and of themselves they are powerful and sacred or important. But that's not all. Allah swears by different things to allude or to present an argument that is about to come. So if the beginning of a surah has oaths, it is leading to a conclusion which is called Jawabul Qasam, the response to these oaths. The oaths are there to set a certain mindset, prepare you for an argument that is coming. Okay? With that in mind, I want to share with you some oaths, some really powerful literary oaths in the beginning of Surah Al-Mursalat. By the way, Surah Al-Mursalat belongs to a handful of surahs in the Quran in which there is a lot of repetition. There's a lot of repetition. Okay? This is one of those surahs in which there's a lot of repetition. One of them is Surah Al-Rahman, very famous. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ فَوَيْلٌ يَوْمَئِذٍ لِلْمُكَذِّبِينَ is the repetition in Surah Al-Mursalat. Another surah with a lot of repetition is Surah Al-Shu'ara. Okay? These are a few handful of surahs in which there's a lot of repetition. Now, the purpose of that repetition is the discussion for another day, inshallah, because it has a profound function. Today we're dealing with the oaths themselves. You see, the Quraysh had argued, you keep talking about the sun and the moon colliding, about the mountains are going to move swiftly like they're made of wool, and they're going to move like that. People are going to be looking drunk. The oceans are going to boil over. These big things, this is not going to happen. All this, when is it going to come? All these big things you talk about, we've never seen anything like that. So they were basically arguing that the challenges and the threats of the Quran are too cataclysmic. They are too enormous to be possible. In response to that, Allah Azza wa Jal takes an oath in these few ayat, by majority opinion of the Mufassirun and from the language it is supported, by winds. Allah swears in the beginning of Surah Al-Mursalat by the creation of Allah, winds. Al-Mursala is used actually in Arabic for that which has been released. It was used for horses. The word urf, which is wal-mursalati urfa is the ayah. Urf in Arabic is the back, the horse on the back of its head, its neck, there's this hair. And if you don't have ropes for a horse, what's the only thing you can grab onto to slow it down? It's that hair. Allah Azza wa Jal gives the image of winds as though they are like a horse, a wild horse, who has been unleashed because its hair has been let go. What happens to a wild horse when you let go of its hair? It goes crazy. Marches forward, doesn't care where it's going, full speed ahead. So what's being paralleled is the image of a wild horse with winds. Meaning winds that Allah is telling the Quraysh, first of all, that winds are not something that blow randomly this way or that way. This soft breeze you feel on your face is because the reins are being held. By who? By Allah Azza wa Jal. But it is very possible for that same Lord to let go of that lock of hair, and what's going to happen? They're going to turn into this wild horse, the stallion that's going to breeze through, crush through. وَالْمُرْسَلَاتِ عُرْفًا, the first one, the wild horse that has been released, released, the winds. The second, فَالْعَاصِفَاتِ. Asf in Arabic is to move in an inconsiderate fashion. What I mean by that is if I run into this thing and I don't even care it's here and I keep running over it and trample over it, I don't care what's in my way, I keep going. Okay? Like a truck that doesn't have brakes. Just crushes everything in its path, a bulldozer nowadays. The movement of the bulldozer is asf, inconsiderate, doesn't care what's in its way. It's going to go anyway. وَالْعَاصِفَاتِ عَصْفًا. These winds, Allah continues the oath. These same winds that have been unleashed, now they've become inconsiderate, merciless. They don't care what comes in the way, they just go. In 2 ayat, Allah has described winds as a source of destruction. If you guys have ever seen video footage of what happened after Ike, or what happens after a hurricane, or after a tornado, after 40 seconds that it hits a town. 40 seconds. You see what happens to those homes? Right? Allah Azza wa Jal sent winds upon a nation 7 consecutive days. 7 consecutive days, winds have been unleashed upon them. سَخَّرَ عَلَيْهِمْ سَبْعَ لَيَالٍ 7 nights. وَثَمَانِيَةَ أَيَّامٍ حُسُومًا. Subhanallah. 7 and 8. 7 days, 8 nights. 7 nights, 8 days rather. Continuously pounding them. What does 40 seconds do? I saw, after Galveston, the Hurricane Ike, I saw some footage and I was there a few weeks ago. You know how they have those railings on the beach? Those metal railings are this thick. They were twisted around like noodles. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. Subhanallah. Now the winds, which is not some major cataclysmic sun and moon coming together. There's no special event that has to be prepared. You know when you make special arrangements for a mass weapon of destruction? What is Allah using to destroy these people? The wind. Allah doesn't need to make, in 2 ayat He's told the Quraysh, there needs to be no special arrangement made for you guys. All He has to do is release the lock on the winds. That's all He has to do. And then He turns around and He gives you the other dimension of winds. Winds can be a source of death, yes, but they are actually also a source of mercy. Allah Azza wa Jal continues the next 2 oaths, وَالنَّاشِرَاتِ نَشْرًا. And the winds that serve to spread all over. They spread. Nashr literally means you take a bunch of seeds, you throw them on the ground. What happens to the seeds? They spread in random directions, right? So Allah speaks about the winds that carry and disperse. What the ulama of tafsir have concluded from this is that the winds carry and disperse the clouds. Because the clouds, wherever they go, what's going to fall? Rain. And rain is the source of life on this earth. No rain, no life. Drought means death. So the winds that were the source of death in the first 2 oaths are now beginning to be the source of what? Of life. And now we know even better. Now we know winds don't just carry the clouds around. What else do they carry with them? The pollen. The source of vegetation. Pollen travels from one place to the other by means of winds. Right? Those of you that have bad allergies know that pretty well. It's actually a mercy of Allah. Right? Which is why we're reminded to say Alhamdulillah, right? Subhanallah. Anyway, وَالنَّاشِرَاتِ نَشْرًا. Allah Azza wa Jal spreads these clouds out. Now when you think of cloud spreading or pollen falling, you would think that this is random. You would think that this division of the clouds is going that way, not this way, or the drop fell here, not there. This is random. They call it the random acts of Mother Nature. We know there's no such thing. These are precise, calculated acts of who? Of Allah Azza wa Jal. So He says, فَالْفَارِقَاتِ فَرْقًا. Those who make very precise divisions. It's going to fall here, not here. This land will remain dry, this land will get water. فَالْفَارِقَاتِ فَرْقًا. 2 things have been given to us so far. These winds, they bring about rain, they bring about life, and also they bring about what? Death. Both things. Then Allah Azza wa Jal says, after this, فَالْمُلْقِيَاتِ ذِكْرًا. They bring people into contact with reminder. These winds bring people into contact with reminder. Just a few reminders that I want to share with you that these winds bring about, if you reflect upon them. Winds they're causing a cooperation between the heavens and the earth. The clouds are moving in the heavens, and the rain is falling on the earth. All of it to serve who? Serve us. Serve the human being. Allah is showing just by means of the winds that He has given, it's a single leadership. It's a single chain of command. It only comes from Allah. They're not under separate leaderships. It shows the purpose of creation. One of the great reminders of the ayat, the purpose of creation. How everything comes and cooperates with everything else. All as a favor to me. Right? Reminds you of your own purpose. If Allah has created all of these things with such purpose, then who is this thing has been created, خَلَقَ لَكُمْ, He created for you, I must have a purpose too. So even wind reminds me of my purpose in life. It's a profound reminder. And then the second reminder that the winds carry, I give you an example. If you left your pet in the house without giving them water, you forgot. You come back after the whole day. Your pet is at whose mercy? At your mercy. Until you take a little plate or a little drop of water and drop it in their tongue, they're begging for it. Whether that animal scratches you or damages your property or listens to you, doesn't listen to you, in the end they submit to who? To you. As wild as they can get. as wild and rebellious as human beings can get, if Allah does not give us these sips of water to drink, where do we go? There's nowhere else. We're more pathetic than the pets we think we own. We are more powerless before Allah. It is a reminder of the lordship of Allah that He's letting you drink these sips. This water is not your product. You can walk about arrogantly on the earth, but if He doesn't send that mercy from the sky, where are you going to be? It's the lordship of Allah. The winds are reminding you of Allah's lordship over you and me. The second powerful reminder, so these winds deliver a reminder. The winds are a reminder of resurrection. These winds come, water comes from the sky, the earth is dead, and what happens to the earth? It comes back to life. Dead becomes living. And now every time the rains bring life to the earth, we are reminded that we will also die, and we will also be in this earth, and just like the earth is giving out vegetation, it will be giving out human beings on the day of resurrection. It's a reminder of resurrection. All of that reminder starts where? If you just reflect on what? The wind. Subhanallah. فَالْمُلْقِيَاتِ ذِكْرًا. And then finally, we said the wind does two things. It comes as a source of destruction or as a source of mercy, which reminds us that Allah has in place a profound system of punishment and of reward. Something that begets His wrath and other things that beget His mercy. So we are reminded not to cross certain lines and to pursue certain other things in life. We are reminded of Allah's justice. We are reminded of Allah's commandments just by the winds. And now that Allah has sent these winds and asked you to think about them in this way, and the Arab would process this, he would hear these words and he would process them immediately. The last few ayat that I want to share with you, عُذْرًا أَوْ نُذْرًا. عُذْرًا أَوْ نُذْرًا. People, all of us will feel the wind on our face. There'll be two kinds of people. People that will take the reminder and now they are warned, right? What's the other kind of person? Nothing. Nothing. They just pass, nice breeze. Right? So for the people who took the warning, the winds served as a warner. Nudra. And for the people who didn't care, now the wind is an excuse to punish them. Allah sent them a reminder and they ignored it. Now that wind has become an excuse, a means by which they should be punished. Udhr. A reason, a cause, an excuse that is now in creation that is witness against them. May Allah protect us from that. Udhran aw nudhra. And after all these oaths, these are the oaths. These are setting the stage. This is not even the argument yet. This is just preparing you for the argument. What's the actual point? إِنَّمَا تُوعَدُونَ لَوَاقِعٌ. What you have been promised is no doubt going to become certainty. It is going to happen. You have been promised something, it is bound to occur. Either just like these winds that deliver Allah's mercy or Allah's wrath, you will be the recipient one day of Allah's extreme mercy or Allah's extreme wrath. It is bound to happen. Oaths in the Quran are a profound literary masterpiece in and of themselves. Each one of them. The surahs that begin with oaths demand special study, just in and of themselves. Right? And they're not all structured in the same way. It's an intricate study that a lot of our ulama went into. Dialogue in the Quran. I'm going to sound a little blasphemous to you guys, I'm sorry. It's just a thing with being a teacher. You do whatever you can to get the point across. Okay, I'm not much of a speaker, I try to turn more into a teacher or a tutor. Anybody here ever see Finding Nemo?